Hello, I am back. I am so sorry I've taken so long to do this video. I don't even know the last 4 months have gone. It's been absolutely mental. But here I am, and thank you because of isolation I finally have time to just do this. So I'm excited. So my lovely intern Emily broke down everyone's questions because I had so many questions when I did this post back in November, maybe it's even October, maybe it was October actually. Of loads of people wanting to know about how to start a business, maintain a business, growing a business. So we've broken it down into starting a business, so all the questions that you asked around starting a business, and then growing and maintaining a business. So I'm going to do this in two parts. This one will be all around starting a business, and then the next one will be about growing and maintaining a business. So I'm just going to get stuck in with the first question. So how did you know what you wanted to do and have the confidence to make it happen? That's a good one because I never really, I always knew I wanted a business, like from day dot, but I never really knew what it was going to be in. And I never really put I didn't put pressure on myself to come up with something. Do you know what I mean? It just, I know this is probably not what you want to hear, but it did just happen naturally. Body painting was my passion. Do you know what I mean? I absolutely love painting. I love body painting. And that's where it all kind of stemmed from. So like the business it is today is not what my business plan was. It's not what I set out to do. It was just a passion that I had, that I loved. And that I thought I'd give it a go. And then things just started to happen and it kind of just spiraled and spiraled and spiraled into what it is again today. So I do think if you are like desperately just racking your heads right now, I want to start a business, what can I do? I honestly just stop thinking like that and just start thinking more along the lines of like, what makes me happy? What do I enjoy doing? And get that from it instead of just trying to find like a product that might be popular at the moment and try and make quick cash out of it, because that for me, I feel like you'll lose interest and you won't have that passion towards it, where I still today have this like obsessive love and passion towards a brand because it started from my biggest passion, and I think that is really key in starting a business. Alright, so the second one was, how did you come up with a business plan and fund it? So I never actually did the official business plan. I started doing one because I knew you had to do one because that's what you get told to do. And if you need funding, you absolutely need to have a business plan. If you want investment, you absolutely need to have a business plan. And I started writing it, I had an idea of what I was doing and I had a really rough copy. I then went to look for funding and I was going to do it with a Princess Trust, I think that's what it's called, in London. And it was just a really lengthy 6-month process and I already had like samples in China getting made. And I remember thinking, I need the money tomorrow, not in 6 months. So that for me just didn't work. But there is definitely a lot of possibilities out there to kind of get funding, but you do need your business plan, so do start working on it. There's loads of templates online on how you can kind of get there. But I was quite fortunate enough that I just saved a lot of my own money, and I saved a lot of my money when I was in London, and I used to have a part-time job at weekends, so I used to save all that. So I think if you can just do it yourself, try to. I think it is, I mean, now, what are we spending money on? Try and save as much money as possible, and yeah, you don't need a lot to start up. So I think it is just a good way to kind of, yeah, just try and do it yourself, and if you can't, then start looking for external funding. Okay, so the third one was, how do you deal with the legalities of starting a company? So there's a few things that you need to do legally to set up a business. First of all, you need to decide if you're going to be a sole trader or a limited. If you're going to be a limited, you then need to get it all registered. So I'm just going to use the Gypsy Shrine as an example. The Gypsy Shrine is a limited company, so we set that up on Companies House as the Gypsy Shrine Limited. That's what you've got to do to kind of register your business, but that doesn't cover it for trademarking. So then you have to trademark your name. So then we had to trademark the Gypsy Shrine. So just be careful on that. If you are setting up a business, that's what you have to check for. You need to make sure that there's no trademarks in your name, because that's not good. Like someone couldn't set up a company called the Gypsy Shrine and sell cosmetics because we own that trademark. Someone could set up a car company and call it the Gypsy Shrine because we have not ticked cars on our trademark. So that's why sometimes you find companies that might have the similar name but different fields. So that is how you get around it. But if it's the same class, so there's like loads of different classes, if it's the same class and the same name, you can't have it. But if it's a different class and it's completely different, you probably can. So definitely do your research before coming up with a name. It's so important. And think long term as well. Like if you want to internationalise, you need to be doing trademark checks in the US, and you need to be doing trademark checks in Europe, Australia, everywhere, because if you want to internationalise into those countries, that doesn't want to be, you don't want to then change your name. Taxes. There's so many taxes with business, so many more than I ever thought of. So basically, so I'll go through all of them. So every year you have to pay your corporation tax. So your corporation tax is, let's just say the business made £100,000 and you spend £50,000. So you made £50,000 of profit. So you pay 20% corporation tax on that £50,000. So then on top of the corporation tax, when you start to make, as soon as you've made over £80,000 as a business, you then have to start paying VAT on everything. So every single product you sell, you have 20% of that will go to VAT, but then anything you buy, you can also offset your VAT. So it's a little bit confusing, but basically when you do your costings and you are getting to that threshold, you need to really consider that, because if we, for example, sell a product at £10, £2 of that, or just under £2, will go to VAT. But then if we decided to reduce that to £5, we're still giving £1 to VAT every time. And if it cost me £4, well then actually I'm not going to make a profit. So you do have to take VAT into consideration as you're growing as a business and getting bigger. Then as a business owner, so then if you then want to take a wage, it's just like a normal person. You still have to pay taxes on top of everything else. So the money in the bank is not your money, even though it might have your name on it. Do you know what I mean? So like, then if you take whatever wage you want out of that at the end of the year, and then you get taxed again on that. So don't just think because the business is doing well, the person is doing well, because that's not necessarily how it works at all. It's just, you're basically an employee of your own business, and that's kind of how that works. Then what was the last one on that? It was quite a long one. Employing people. All right, so then the other one was employing people. So employing people is fun, because I love employing people. I always get really excited about the potential of a new person starting and what they're going to bring to the team. But at the same time, it is a big stress, because you are giving people a huge responsibility. And when you like own a business and when you're first starting out, like you do everything and you're just obsessed with it. Do you know what I mean? Like your lifeblood and soul goes on the business. So you're trying to, it's like giving away a bit of your child to someone. That's how it felt at the beginning. So it is hard at the first to try and find the person that's right. I was very lucky. Like my first few members of staff were fantastic and amazing. But it is hard, because you've got to explain to people like you're a one-man band. It's a tiny business. Like you might be bringing on someone with a quite a high level, but they're still going to have to pack boxes and do anything like you're having to do. So I think just lay it out at the table. Like I remember when I hired Charlotte, my dad made me send her a letter saying, do you know you're leaving ITV to come and work for me? Like I literally am working out of a shoebox at the moment. And my dad was like, you've got to send her that because she's leaving her job at ITV, Jenna. And I was like, okay. So like I think just spell it out to people and explain like you could go bust next week. But as long as you tell everyone that and they're up for it and they're game for it, then you've probably got the right person. If you're selling them the dream of being like, we're going to be massive next week, and you're not, that's not fair. So I think just be really open when you're employing people at a really early stage, because you have to kind of get them excited, of course, but also they need to be with you on the journey of realising, yeah, it might not work. So yeah, that's how I'd probably say on employing people. How do you find the right manufacturers and suppliers and shipping companies to work with? Okay, so this is a good one. Finding manufacturers is hard. It's not like an easy, quick job. And I think it's something that you need to spend a lot of time on, and you need to kind of not just get excited when you find someone and go and use them. Because I think I've spoken to a lot of people where I'm like, oh, where do you manufacture? And then they say it, I'm like, I didn't know they specialised in that or this. And they probably don't. It's probably just because people have not saying like lack of experience, but I just get excited, they have an idea, they go on Alibaba and find a supplier, and then they're like, buzzing, found a supplier, I could do this. I always like to find 4 or 5 suppliers, test them all, get different prototypes, figure out the working relationship, because there's some factories that'll want work, and then there's some factories that are intoxicated with work already. So you're just a small fly to them. They're not really going to kind of prioritize you. So you do have to really kind of shop around, and it's not even just about the product, it is about the communication. Like, the last thing you want is to be chasing suppliers every single week on samples, on feedback, on production. Like, you want someone who's on it. So I think my tips with that would be to find a few, get samples, test the fields, and take time with it. Don't just get buzzing and excited because you found one supplier. There is a lot of suppliers out there. You've just got to go to Google, type in clothing manufacturer UK, clothing manufacturer Turkey, clothing manufacturer Portugal. If you want to do clothes, beauty manufacturer UK, beauty manufacturer China. Do you know what I mean? You've just got to type in all the keywords and try and find it. And it's a lot of research, and though you'll come across some and you might not come across others. There's obviously also Alibaba. There is basically China's manufacturing website, so you can go on there and try and find people, but just be careful with that one if you are doing cosmetics. I don't recommend that for cosmetics because it's just a lot of white labelled, untested products. And then there's obviously trade shows you can go to as well, that if you speak to the suppliers hand in hand and you kind of meet them as well. So again, you just Google like trade shows, whatever field you're in, and you just got to do your research. I think it is a lengthy process, and you do have to find the right supplier. When I found my dual supplier, it took me about 2 or 3 months, and she was like the 6th or 7th person I'd spoken to, so just wasn't happy with any of the samples. So I think you have to be that strong. But because I now know I've probably got one of the best products out there that does what we do, because I haven't just got excited and gone, yeah, that'll do. Like, be a perfectionist with it. Don't just get people to test it. Ask them what they do. The first question you should be asking someone with a product is, what don't you like about it? Don't just be like, oh my god, this is amazing, what do you think? Yeah, fine, yeah, production. Test it, break it, snap it, do you know what I mean? Flip it, wash it, do everything with it. Because if you don't, your customer will, and your customer will complain. So I think that's a big, important lesson to have on manufacturing. Okay. How do you approach other companies and press for collaborations, events, and publishing? So that's a good one. So I'll do press first. So press is quite generic. You've got to write a press release, but you've got to write a press release on something press is going to want to write about. Do you know what I mean? So let's take Drop It, for example. We just launched the hair colorant Drop It. We didn't just send a press release out saying, hi, Shrine has just launched Drop It, a new hair colorant. We took 2 approaches. We took 2 spins to it. One was we did some stupid content on the shoot and we painted everyone's armpits. So then the first press release was models are painting their armpits the same colour as their hair. And then we went into a talk about the product. And then our second press release was saving plastic with Shrine's world first product. So we picked out the best aspect of that product, and that's what we talked about. So that's what you've kind of got to do with when you pitch to press. You've got to think what's going to get them excited about the title, what's going to get them excited about the product. It's not just going Shrine drop it. No one cares. Do you know what I mean? People don't care. They want a catchy tagline, they want catchy content, and they want good content. So definitely do a press release and just email out and send products to editors. You can find editors on everywhere, on LinkedIn, on the websites. Just find the right person, I think. And then in terms of getting like events and companies, this is one that this is what I've been doing since the start, just like smashing out emails, trying to collaborate with people. Got to get brand deck. So I think what's really important is to have a beautiful PDF brand deck about your company that if you sent it to me right now, I'd click on that. I probably wouldn't read the email. I'd click on the deck and I just want 6 to 10 pages, depending on how big or small your company is, how much information you have on it. I'd want 6 to 10 pages of all beautiful imagery, few words, text, and I would just want to get what the business is by just looking at that deck. And you can so I think build that, and then you send lovely letters explaining what you want to do, and then you send the deck as well. And if you were pitching to do a collaboration, then create a creative deck that is in relationship to that as well. Do you know what I mean? So if I wanted to collaborate with Pride charity, I would put together a beautiful deck on Pride about how it would work, what it would look like, and that's what I'd also send them along with our company deck, just so they can kind of get a vibe of what we're seeing and what my vision is. What is it like going from working full-time to being self-employed? How do you manage and divide your time between tasks? I actually can't really remember, to be honest. I feel like I've just done this forever now. But no, I was just so, you've got to just, this is why it's so important, back to point one, you've got to be buzzing with your idea. You've got to be so hyped. Otherwise, you're not going to do it. Do you know what I mean? If I wasn't buzzing, I probably wouldn't have got up at like 7 every morning and sat straight on my desk and worked till I went to sleep. But I did. And I think that's because I was so hyped. I had so much adrenaline and I was just so excited to make this happen. And that is why you've got to get everything else perfect before you can start something. That's why you've got to get the passion and the love behind whatever you're doing. Otherwise, you're not going to have the drive. So I think that comes back to that one. And then just in terms of what else there? Manage and divide your time between tasks. So how I kind of always manage myself is I used to use, or sometimes still use, Evernote, which is a good management tool for like tasks. You can tick them all off and stuff. Break them down into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then any task you don't complete in the week, do on a Friday. Put times next to tasks. I think this is really helpful. So like when you're mapping out your to-do list, and this is not even if you're in a business, this is just like how you should manage your time. Just put little times next to it throughout your day and just give yourself little deadlines. That's what I used to do when I used to have so much on and work across all areas. I would just kind of have to be like, right, by 9 I'd do this, by 10 I'd do this, by 11 I'd do this. And I used to just have to be really strict with myself and be clock watching. And I think that's how you get through a lot of stuff. Turn your phone off as well, definitely. That was, yeah, I hope that answered it. Okay, last one. Oh no, I've got 2 more. This is going on forever, I'm so sorry. How did you come up with pricing, discounts and sales and avoid wasting or running out of stock? There is not really much of a strategy behind this, I'm not going to lie. We just go, right, sales are not doing so great, let's do a discount code. This product's not shifting, we need to put it in the sale. So yeah, there's not like a strategy at the beginning of the year saying like, right, we can do this on that date, this on this date. We are just quite reactive. So if sales are getting low or we're not seeing anything, we might do a discount code. If a product's just not selling, we'll probably cut the price on it. It might just be a bad product. I think, yeah, there's been a few, like we did them phone cases, they just didn't sell. And we've accepted that, just cut the price, don't do them again. We did some necklaces, again, they didn't sell. So I think you just have to kind of accept it was a bad product, cut the price, get rid of it, or just sample sale it. That's kind of how we work, and just try and not make that mistake again. Okay, last one. Do you have any do's and don'ts for someone starting a business? Do's and don'ts. Do's, make sure it's something you love. Make sure you're passionate about it. Do make sure you want to do it. Like, I think you've got to be ready for the work. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be ready for hardcore stress, hardcore work, and a lot of it. Like, do just make sure that is really what you want. And there's a lot of people that message me and be like, oh, I want to launch a product. And I'm like, oh, what product? And they're like, oh, I don't know. And I think you need to figure out what the product is before you think you want to launch a product. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think things should come, make sure things are coming naturally and you're not just following a trend product to try and make cash, because you might make short-term cash, but definitely not long-term. So I think they're a bit of do's and don'ts. Don't rush into it. Do you know what I mean? Don't just try and take your time, find the right factories, find the right suppliers, get feedback on stuff. Do you know what I mean? Don't just mock up a logo and think, I like that. Ask 20 people, ask 10 of your friends, and ask 10 people that don't know you, who have no loyalties towards you, because that's when you'll get your true answers. Do just make sure you're excited by it. I've already said that. Yeah, I think that's everything. All right, this is going for long enough. This is a really long one, but I hope I've answered enough of your questions. And next one, I'm going to talk more about how to grow the business. What is it like working for yourself to having staff? So the biggest struggles and challenges you've had. So there's quite a few interesting questions in there, all about kind of how the business has evolved and grown. And then, yeah, I think after this, I'm going to start trying to do more focuses on individual things. So I really want to take you through the process of how we launched Drop It. So really product focused. And yeah, if you've got any other ideas on stuff, please send them my way. I'm definitely going to keep this up now. It's my new goal. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and leave me a comment. Just let me know what you think, because I really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you very much and see you later.